Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott Selections here for Wednesday, July 3rd. Before we get into the play of the day, we'll quickly recap what happened yesterday. We picked up a nice winner with the Washington Nationals first five minus a half, which we got available at minus 125. Line ended up going up right around game time, but since we gave it out in the morning, 125 was definitely a solid line, and we were able to cash thanks to a very solid performance by Patrick Corbin. Unfortunately, it was dragged out a little bit longer than anticipated due to a rain delay at roughly, I'd say, the third or the fourth inning, but they eventually resumed, and we picked up a very nice win. So with that being said, we're going to dive right back into the baseball card as I see a total that I want to share with you as the play of the day, and it will be between the Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates, which is supposed to have first pitch at roughly 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And for that matchup, we are a fan of the over 9.5, which is available at Heritage at minus 110. The pitching matchup for this game will be between Yu Darvish and Chris Archer. Both pitchers have been struggling a decent amount so far this season and have been pretty solid in recent years past, but that's a long time removed now. How's it going, Big X? Thanks for joining us. Darvish so far this season is 2-4 with a 4.98 ERA, and Archer is 3-6 with a 5.5 ERA. Darvish has also been extremely poor this season against the Pirates in particular, as against the Pirates so far this season, he is 0-1 with a 6.75 ERA after giving up 5 runs in 5 and a third innings, 4 of them being earned. Where meanwhile, Darvish has actually faced the Pirates before, but Archer has not faced the Cubs yet this season. However, the Cubs as a team have decent numbers against Archer in his career. As you look at the numbers, the Cubs in 49 at-bats against Archer have a 286 batting average and a 375 on-base percentage. Not to mention the fact that Archer so far this season has had issues giving up home runs, and the Cubs, as we know, with Rizzo and Baez and the rest of their lineup, definitely have the potency to hit a lot of home runs in bunches. So, also including the fact that Archer, it is a night game, is 1-3 with a 7.62 ERA at night. We think he'll struggle. We think that Darvish will struggle as well. The wind is also going to be blowing out in this game. Small amount, about 5 miles per hour to straightaway center field. Could lead to a couple of more home runs, but overall, we definitely like both offenses in this matchup. We think both starting pitchers are relatively poor, and both bullpens are definitely not anything to write home about. So, assuming that everybody's going to be playing with Bell and Newman and all those people, including Rizzo and Baez and Bryant, we definitely like the over 9.5 here, and we think that there is a lot of value there. So the play of the day will be on the Cubs and Pirates over 9.5, which is available at minus 110 at Heritage at time of recording of 1:58 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, question for Big X, what do I think about the total in the Blue Jays and Boston game? I'm about to go through the entire leans of all the games, so just stay tuned, Big X, and I will get to that game shortly. There is a game taking place roughly 10 minutes between the Tigers and the White Sox, with Norris on the mound versus Cease. Cease will be making the first start of his career, and I actually like him in this spot here. Tigers definitely have been awful this season, and I know the White Sox are a minus 150 favorite, but Norris has not looked good this season at all, and I think there is some value on Cease here, who is supposed to be one of the big prospects for the White Sox organization. Lean to the White Sox there in the first game of that doubleheader. Moving on, you have the Nationals versus the Marlins. In this game, I lean to the under 9.5 here. Strasburg overall did not pitch well against the Marlins in his last start, but I still like him overall as a pitcher, and I think he will look to bounce back after such a poor showing. Meanwhile, Alcantara, same story. He did not pitch that well against the Nationals in his last start, but I expect him to bounce back in that one. Yeah, Terry, it was definitely not a lot of fun with tennis with Granollers on the money line. He was serving for the match, he was serving for the set, I should say, in the second set and had 2 set points, and then eventually got broken and lost in a tiebreak. Each of the sets were competitive, didn't really work out in the end, but the line closed at minus 145. We got it into minus 115, so we got value there. It just simply didn't work out. We'll bounce back on tennis tomorrow, but I'm going to dive back into the baseball card. I'll lean to the under 9.5 with the Nationals and the Marlins. I think that you should see roughly 8 runs here. Assuming that both bullpens don't absolutely blow the game, I'd actually feel a lot better about taking the first 5 under. I think you'll see less runs than the first encounter between these teams about a week ago with these starting pitchers, so I'll lean to the under there. Cubs I already gave out. The Red Sox versus Toronto. Totals at 9.5. In terms of the game itself, I'd have to lean to the Red Sox team total there. But for me, I don't want to take the over with Sale. I know that Sale struggled against Toronto earlier this season, and he has not been that great this season overall. But he's still Chris Sale, and I know that Toronto's offense has been good, and the Red Sox bullpen stinks. But I would not be surprised to see Sale pitch really well here. On the other hand, you look at Toronto's starter for this game, and you look at Jacob Waguspek, and in terms of that, he's 0-0 with a 4.5 ERA. But the Red Sox were great yesterday. Devers had multiple home runs. The team was great. I'd have to lean to the over, but for the main part, I'd lean to the Red Sox team total over, as I think the Red Sox should score at least 7 runs in this game. So I will lean to the over on that one. Moving on to the rest of the card here, you have the Brewers versus the Reds with Chacin versus Sonny Gray. I actually will lean to the Reds once again in this game. Reds won a thrilling walk-off game yesterday after Puig was able to take home plate due to a questionable fielding error by Thames at first base. But Gray overall has actually been pretty solid. He shut down the Cubs in his last start. Chacin has been very underwhelming this season after such a great season last year. And the Reds have been good at home, and the Brewers have not been good on the road. If you look at their numbers, the Reds are 22-19 at home. The Brewers are conversely 19-22 on the road. So I'll actually lean to the Reds there. I think the Reds should be able to get the job done. And I will also lean to that game going over the total. Moving on, you have the Orioles versus the Rays with Means versus Stanek. I lean to the under 8.5. Means is the only All-Star representative for the Orioles this season, and rightfully so, as the team is terrible, but Means somehow is 7-4 with a 2.5 ERA. Stanek will be the opener, but he has been solid, and the Rays have the best bullpen statistically in baseball, so I will lean to the under 8.5 there. I think you should see runs come at a premium. Lean to the under. Moving on, you have the Yankees versus the Mets with Germán coming back from the IL as against Vargas. In terms of this game, I will lean to the Mets here. Although I'm a Yankee fan, I don't really trust Germán in his first start. Germán in his first start off of the IL. Meanwhile, Vargas has actually been very solid over the last couple of starts. Shut down the Phillies in his last start, and I also like the fact that he pitched against the Yankees earlier this year, and he pitched relatively well. The Yankees definitely did not look great yesterday. I know the bullpen ended up choking it. Mets bullpen still can't be trusted, but Germán coming off of an injury, I'm a little bit questionable. I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that the Yankees are a minus 145 favorite, give or take. Small lean to the Mets, and I will lean to the over 10 in that one. Moving on, you have the Phillies versus the Braves with Pivetta versus Wilson. Total's been bet up from 10.5 to 11.5, but it is still available at 11 at some spots at a lot of juice. In terms of this game, I will lean to the over 11 or 11.5 here. I think that this total's been steamed up for a good reason. Wilson's not great. Pavetta's not great. Both teams have solid offenses that did pretty much nothing yesterday. Nola shut down the Braves entirely. I think they'll bounce back nicely. I think both teams should score at least 6 runs. Lean to the over in that one. Moving on, you have the Angels versus the Rangers with Canning versus Jurado. Lean to the Angels there. Angels definitely won an emotional game yesterday following the passing of starting pitcher Skaggs, who the Angels will look to continue to deal with his passing. But overall, I definitely like the way the Angels played yesterday. I think they have a lot of emotion, and I think that they will continue playing well for the immediate future. So I will lean to the Angels on that one. Moving on, you have the Astros versus the Rockies with Miley versus Lambert. I like the Astros here. They won a thrilling 9-8 game yesterday thanks to another terrible performance from the Rockies bullpen as they blew a 3-run lead going into the 7th inning. In terms of this game, Miley's been great this season. Lambert's 2-0, but his ERA is above 6. I think that the Astros, now that they're back at roughly 100% with their lineup, should be able to win this one. I will lean to the Astros. The total on the other end is at 14.5, and I do not really want to touch that whatsoever. I'd have to lean to the over, but 14.5 is absurd. I'm going to pass on the total, and I'll lean to the Astros on the money line instead. Moving on, you have game 2 of the doubleheader between the Tigers and the White Sox with Alexander versus Detweiler in that one, and I will be leaning to the White Sox in that one as well. Alexander will be making his first start of the season. Detweiler was actually pretty solid in his first start, 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA. The Tigers, for a lack of a better term, just stink. And I actually think the White Sox have a decent team. I think they have a decent amount of talent with Jimenez, Abreu, and Moncada being the main cogs of that lineup. So I will lean to the White Sox there at roughly minus 125. I think they should be able to sweep the doubleheader. Moving on, you have the Indians versus the Royals with Clevenger versus Duffy. Indians are minus 155. There is no way I'm backing Clevenger after he got absolutely destroyed against the Orioles in his last start. Since coming off the IL, he's been terrible. Duffy was actually pretty good in his last start, but I will lean to the over 9, and I will lean to the Royals as an underdog here, as I simply just do not trust Clevenger after his last couple of performances, so I will definitely not be betting on the Indians there. Moving on, you have the Twins versus the A's with Gibson versus Fiers. I lean to the A's here. A's have been playing very well lately. Fiers have been pitching really well, and Gibson has been pretty good this season, 8-4 with a 4.12 ERA. But the Twins have definitely been struggling lately, and I think that the A's will get the job done at home. So I will lean to the A's on that one. Moving on, you have the Giants versus the Padres. I will lean to the Giants here with Anderson against Quantrill's. I don't like the way the Padres have played this series, and the Giants have smacked the Padres so far in the first 2 games of the series by winning a combined 23-6. I simply just don't like the way the Padres have played. Giants have played better lately, and I will be siding with the Giants as a very small underdog here, and I think they will get the job done. Lean to the Giants. Moving on, you have the Diamondbacks versus the Dodgers with Kelly versus Buehler. Thrilling game yesterday as the Dodgers managed to force 5 straight walks with 2 outs in the 9th inning to win the game by walk-off fashion. Very impressive, kind of a pathetic choke job by the Diamondbacks. In terms of this game, I will lean to the under 8 here. Buehler's been pretty much unhittable this entire season, and Kelly has definitely been serviceable as a surprising, I don't want to say ace, but he's been pretty solid. I know he's 7-8, but his ERA is 4, and I definitely like the way that he has pitched recently. Lean to the under 8 there. And the last game, you have a matchup between the Cardinals and the Mariners with Wainwright versus Leake, and I will lean to the over 9 there. Don't really like Wainwright, and Leake has been a little bit inconsistent over his last couple of starts, so I will lean to the over 9, especially with the Mariners bullpen coming in and potentially choking the game away. Lean to the over 9 there. But the play of the day will be on the Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates over 9.5, which is available at minus 110 on Heritage. Before we conclude today's video, quick reminder of our sponsor, PointsBet, online sportsbook in New Jersey, up to 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000. That's the deal they have for new members if you use the promo code that I will be linking in the description below. So it's a great way to bet risk-free to potentially make some serious money, and if you lose, you'll simply get your money back. So you're actually dealing with house money. Great deal. But with that being said, that's going to do it for this installment of Scott Selections here for Wednesday, July 3rd, and good luck to all of you and your expected bets today. Bye, everyone.